Hey guys, welcome back to North Country Off Grid. Today's video is talking about some local government issues taking place. Before we get started with the video, if you guys are residents of Bonner County or if you know someone in the state of Idaho, please share this video on your social media networks to help get this message out. Today we're gonna watch a sit-down meeting that was sent into us by a resident of this area. They've asked to remain anonymous. They are in fear of reprisal from the county if their name was to get out at all, which is horrible that anyone would feel the need to have to hide from their county officials for fear of retribution against them. But they are being what they feel is targeted for their lifestyle, a traditional lifestyle of trying to homestead, of trying to live off grid. But they feel that they are being targeted because the county here wants to clean up, quote unquote, clean up the area so that they can bring in developers and they can get people in and jack up prices of land values and having tiny houses on a 20-acre lot doesn't speak well for the 20-acre lot next to them if they're trying to get top dollar. So guys, really pay attention to this video. I'm going to cut in and out to kind of talk about it intermittently. Stay tuned until the very end. You guys are going to hear them kind of slip up and it threw a absolute light bulb going off in my head because they're targeting someone specifically, another county member, someone who lives in this area. They're targeting them specifically. One of the commissioners talks about it, and then the guy who's at the podium, who is the planning director, he hushes them up real quick and says, let's save it for an executive meeting, which is a private meeting, guys, that the public is not allowed in. So behind closed doors, they are targeting a citizen. So wait till the end. It's a bit of a longer video. Not cool. Guys, I'm glad this was sent to me. I'm glad this was brought to my attention. Of course, a lot of the people who are sending me stuff privately, they don't have a platform to speak on. They're just a lone person getting the same letters in the mail that I got. The difference is I have this platform to bring it to light, guys. So here goes the video.
2019, this is the time scheduled to meet with our planning department for a planning update. All three commissioners are present. Go ahead, Milton, I guess.
Great. Good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you. So,
the guy at the podium right now is Milton Olerton. He is the planning director of the Bonner County Planning Department. So he's the head of the department. What they're going to be talking about here shortly after they kind of get through the mumbo jumbo is going to be whether or not they should allow you to stay on your property, camp out on your property for more than 120 days on your private property. Guys, listen to this.
On the screen, so BLPs year to date, we're at 648. BLPs 640 last year, 530 year before. These are all year to date numbers, they're not 20 years. So we finally surpassed. We were up to 40 behind for most of the summer, most of the year.
And that's fiscal year, or is that
year to date?
Calendar, yeah.
Yeah, calendar year to date.
No wonder you look frazzled.
And then the exempt structures are down.
I think it's
So
hair.
169 down to 148.
I think it's just hair right now. It's a little shovels.
You know, I'm, it's every day it's a debate. Should it go or should it stay?
Yeah, I know.
You look at Rick, he got his haircut. It's kind of a nice.
Yeah. It's probably going to be a go thing. But
You should go wherever Bill goes. Bill's got a nice and coiffed head of hair.
there you go, man.
Okay,
I tight.
sorry, I got us off track. That was me.
That's all right. So department updates, we're rocking along. We are fully staffed. The person that we've hired to replace our exiting intern won't start for another month and a half or so, but that's okay. We're still excited about that. That's happening. So moving on the agenda, zoning ordinance updates, Title 11 and Title 12. The ordinance updates, we're working on some ordinance updates for Title 11. We haven't presented anything to the Planning and Zoning Commission. Title 12 updates, we have a file in front of the P&Z Commission next week mostly just rearranging the order of the subdivision section for minor land division and short plat. We'll bring that to you after the P&Z Commission makes a recommendation in a week. We had a workshop last week with the Planning and Zoning Commission on recreational vehicles. Right now, a recreational vehicle, according to the code, occupancy of a recreational vehicle on a lot or parcel shall not exceed 120 days in any 12-month period, not including RV parks. So if you have an RV on your property, according to this code, you can only stay in it for 120 days in any 12-month period. And then it says RV occupancy is limited to one vehicle per lot or parcel. So you can have one RV on your property and you can only stay in it for 120 days. So we've had lots of requests to change this. We don't enforce this because I don't have a meter made with a chalk strip to go out and chalk the tires.
Okay, so an RV, a recreational vehicle, guys, is campers, motorhomes, stagecoach, whatever it is you're sleeping in, staying in. A lot of people move to this area. They come up in RVs. They stay in those RVs until they build. A lot of people come to this area. And they live in those RVs because they don't want to build a house, and they shouldn't be forced to build a house. Guys, we're talking about private property. We're talking about rural county property out here. We're talking in the county, excuse me. We're talking about property in the middle of the woods. And when they find out that you have an RV, they think that you should only be allowed to stay there for 120 days, and that is it on your property. Your private property. These guys, these four guys sitting here, there's 3 commissioners and the planning department think that this is acceptable.
You were the meter maid.
Yeah. So we don't do it that way. We do deal with complaints. Don't misinterpret what I'm saying.
That happens a lot.
So we do enforce complaints. If we get a complaint of somebody staying on their property, but I guess my point is it's hard to prove that they exceeded 120 days in any 12-month period.
Well, I say we put Daniel out there with one of those little camp chairs.
Yeah.
For 121 days.
Although there's a lot of lighthearted joking going on here, listen to the intent of Milton's statement. He doesn't have a meter maid to be able to go and enforce it. He would like to be able to enforce these laws, these rules, this code. He would like to be able to tell people they can't stay on their property for 120 more days, but he can't yet.
We even thought about using drones, but we can't do that either. So.
Back over to Milton, he also made the statement that he wishes they could use drones to be able to watch people out in these areas. Guys, just because they're not using drones just yet, when you see the intent of wanting to do it in this area to keep control of people, they eventually will be using drones. The more they tax, the more they raise fines, the more money that they get, they will then spend it on stuff. Tax and spend. You'll see with Bonner County, they like doing that. They tax you more, then they spend more, and then they come back years later asking for more. It's why these county commissioners make $86,000 a year, I think is what it is. To me, I think that's overpayment for sitting around making jokes during a county commissioner meeting.
In order to prove that, you'll almost essentially need the assistance of neighbors.
Right.
Who else but a neighbor could be capable of that?
Someone willing to swear out the complaint.
Yeah.
That neighbor has to swear out the complaint. That's where you're into a problem. They usually don't want to.
Commissioner Dan McDonald just made the comment that the problem is that people will not swear on the complaint. People need to be able to report people, but there needs to be some sort of proof behind it. Dan McDonald is in favor of neighbors ratting on each other to be able to enforce these. That does not build a good community, guys. Trying to get your community to rat on the rest of your community, that's bad community.
So we do have property owners that want to live in their RV on their property while they build, but then they want to leave the RV on their property or the RV hookup on their property. So the P&Z Commission has held a workshop on this. They'll hold another workshop on it. The other thing they considered was in the commercial use table, the RV park recreational vehicle parks are allowed in the commercial, rural service center, recreation, and alpine village zones with a conditional use permit. We've tagged a couple properties in the last year for starting to build an RV park in the rural zones. And so there were some folks at the hearing with the P&Z Commission that from these rural zones that have started these RV parks that we've made them stop. And so they had some input onto why we should allow RV parks in a rural zone. So the Planning and Zoning Commission is still going to keep working on this. There's not been a final document written yet, a proposal, but that's what the Planning and Zoning Commission is working on regarding Title 12 updates. You're going to continue to see updates from us on the code. We continue to find things in the code that present challenges when working with applicants for land use files. So
I've got a question, Milton. So on the RV, so it still would be not something that we want to see as people living full-time in an RV, correct, on a parcel, or would that be all right? Is that the way we're headed? What are
This
we?
is County Commissioner Jeff Conley of District 2. Sitting next to him, the cowboy Steve Bradshaw of District 1, County Commissioner.
I think the Planning and Zoning Commission was open to that idea. They didn't seem to have a problem with somebody wanting to live in an RV full-time on the property.
I would guess that by Jeff Conley's statement and sort of phrased questions, he is not in favor of people being able to live in RVs on their own property. They seem a little perplexed as to what they should do, and I would offer up this statement. It's none of your business what people do on their property or how people choose to live on their property. I'm not sure where these guys feel like they got the end-all, be-all answers to whether or not people get to. They should not be under the impression that they are in control of how people live on their properties. That's my suggestion.
You know, when people first get here, they're very brave, right? Oh yeah, I can do this, and
I see it as, you know, as a
wait for winter.
temporary structure while you're building your home or something. But boy, as far as live in it for, yeah.
With the right circumstances, it's doable, especially if it's on a private property, because you can put a shed, you can put a roof over it, a snow roof over it, which people do. Some of them build a complete pole barn and put the RV inside the pole barn. We don't even know it's there.
Right.
And they're living in it year-round.
Obviously, I don't have a problem with that.
Right. So
I've built houses for people that they had a pole barn set up, they'll put their RV in it, stay there till their house is complete, and then about half the time they sell the RV after the house is finished. But
So maybe it's just a matter of extending the period of time.
yeah, it was
Not that we have the ability.
a place to stay while the house is being built.
well, and so one of the suggestions that came up out of that meeting was to allow up to 2 permanent RV spots on property. Again, this is so raw and in the very beginning stages, but that was some of the discussion from the workshop Thursday. You know, nothing's been written, nothing's down on paper, but this is where these things start to come to life. These ordinance changes is in these workshops, and so we thought we advertised it pretty good. We did get some public there to provide input on what they'd like to see as far as RVs on properties and RV parks. So,
Okay. I'll be waiting to see the next update.
okay, next is enforcement. Adam, you have anything?
Complaints seem to be up this month for some reason, variety of them, so it's not consistent.
Okay. Wow. That's it?
Well,
How many things have you issued this month? How many tickets? Not work orders. Red tags.
Probably just 3 stop work orders.
Okay.
this past month, but several violations, a lot of zoning violations.
Oh, really?
Variety of, as far as building, change of use, that seems to be popular with contractors that possibly didn't get paid, I guess. Junkyards. That's,
Yeah, junkyards.
yeah. So,
Our favorite junkyard? Not our favorite.
we got a few favorites.
Yeah.
Say all of them are our favorites.
Okay.
Any action on that one over by Priest, south of Priest River? South of the river, I should say, over by Priest
Could be.
River?
Can we save that for executive session?
Oh, okay.
Statement was brought up, junkyards, not our favorite one. Clearly these guys are dealing with someone who has a quote-unquote junkyard. They narrow down the area, and when they say, and I almost know who it is. I believe I've driven by the place based off of where they said it was. Guys, and I believe this. This is something we're going to dig into. I think I can find the owner of this property, and we're going to go and talk to him and see how much harassment that they've faced from the planning and zoning department. My guess is this guy has had a lot for a very long time, moved his stuff there, and as people developed around him, they had an increasing issue with the amount of stuff on his property. And now the county thinks that they're entitled to tell him to move it. I'm assuming. That's an assumption 100%, guys. There's a lot of that kind of stuff going on where people are moving here from out of town, and then all of a sudden they want to make a lot of changes to what's going on. If you guys feel that that is taking place, feel free to contact us. If you guys feel that you're being targeted, or if you guys feel that this is something that you want to stand with us on, if you are a county property owner out here in Bonner County, contact us. If you're a landowner in the state of Idaho, contact us. We're gonna want everyone's support on this, and if this is something you feel that you should stand up for your neighbors on, I encourage you to do it. Guys, I'm gonna leave at the end of this video the information for Milton. At the end of this video, he says we're kind of waiting to see what we're gonna do on the code of people living out here. So they're still in the planning process of it. This video is recent. So you guys feel free to call up Milton and let him know if you feel that it is just wrong that they try to dictate whether or not someone lives in an RV. If you currently live in an RV and don't want to be targeted, I suggest you get your voice heard. Guys, I don't live in an RV, and it really isn't my fight, yet it is our fight. If they're doing this to our neighbors, and neighbors are contacting me because they feel targeted, it is up to us to stand together as neighbors, as Americans. So here's the contact, guys. Finish out the rest of this video. Really appreciate you watching.
There you have it. FEMA updates, huh?
Anything new, Jason?
Not cut up the flood permits. Got one flood violation, but it's just a permit.
FEMA still exists, they haven't gone away.
They haven't gone away. Same stuff.
On it. Okay. Kind of a boring meeting.
What else? Anything else? That's it?
That's all we're working on a lot of things, but
Right.
Right,
That's
just
all
nothing.
that's agendized for today. We have 2 executive sessions though.
Okay. So,
So we got executive session stuff?
we have some executive session stuff, so. The
We have
public,
1 litigation and 1 hiring.